listening to Michael's 10 to 1 show.
You're number one. Radio West 5.
Yes, Michael Jackson, Beat It. The two most common words you'll hear in the West of Fife if you kick your ball into somebody's garden or onto their begonias and destroy them. Yes, beat it. Yes, it's my life on the Friday 10 to 1 show here on Radio West 5, your number one. And in the studio we have people from the Dunfermline Museum and Art Gallery project at a cost of £11 million. Now, who wouldn't want to get involved with £11 million? Stay tuned for more details about how you can get involved. Did you know that there's a 200-year-old drum as one of the objects that are going to be featured in the museum? I want to bang that drum. Yep, Fame Irene Cara, and I'm delighted to say that I've got Katrina Davison and Leslie McNaughton in the studio, and they're from the Dunfermline Museum and Art Gallery project right here in the centre of Dunfermline. It's opening up in 2016, but and it must be very exciting for you both to be involved in this project. I mean, what's going to be the most exciting part? Is it now, or is it later on? Is it planning for it?
Well, I've come into it as an intern. I'm only here for the year. I finish up in September this year, but it's been so exciting for me just being involved at such an early stage and seeing what actually goes into, designing a new museum. So that's the exciting part for me, and it'll be great coming back and actually seeing it open as well.
I saw in the press recently a bar of soap, okay? The bar of soap was featured in the press, and I thought, they're looking for volunteers to research that. How do you research a bar of soap that was owned by someone in the trenches?
Well, luckily we knew the name of the person who owned that bar of soap. And we already know a bit about him. Yeah. But if we didn't know that, I don't know how you'd go about it. Yeah.
I mean, I had visions of people looking at microscopes and going into DNA and stuff and trying to trace them that way,
No. Well, the soap was never used. And we knew it was a soldier called William Robertson who was he was from Fife, and he actually brought the soap back with him from a hospital in France and then donated it to the museum, I think, in the 70s. He was able to give us a bit of his own personal story to go with that, and that's what we want to do for all of our objects, is have that personal story.
That bar of soap has lasted quite a number of years.
I know.
Where did the army buy their soap? That's what I want to know. The Muirhouse Burns collection, has that been all folded and packaged and done by the volunteers?
That was the Muirhouse Burns collection.
The Muirhouse,
that was at the Carnegie Library, and in January this year we had about 20 volunteers came in for 2 weeks, and they packed away almost 2,500 books from that collection. Yeah, so that's all finished now, and it's been taken away to our stores.
Leslie, going to museums, people got this perception of you go to museums and you just look at stuff, and then there's a little board next to it. Is this museum going to be... I mean, we live in an age of interaction and technology. I mean, is it going to be an interactive museum?
Our museum is not going to be a stand and look at a bunch of things museum. Okay. Definitely not. Our museum's about the people of Dunfermline. It's for Dunfermline. So we're trying really hard to connect all the objects you'll be looking at to the stories and the people that they belonged to. So it makes it more interesting. Yes, we'll have interaction. We have interactive things to play with for young people and old people. We have got technology involved. You can use your iPad to go around the museum, and you can scan codes that give you more information on the objects. So while there's the panel that you're talking about with your basics, but if you are looking to find out a little bit more, you can get your iPad out, you can scan a code, and it'll give you even more information if you want it.
What's the most interesting object that's been handed in so far? I mean, you're looking for donations of objects from the local community.
What we're trying to do is we've got a huge collection in Dunfermline that the public have not been able to see because we've not had a suitable museum building for them. We've had the Viewfield Terrace Museum building, and we've got Pittencrieff House, which is beautiful, but neither of those are sort of very accessible for the public. So we're building this new museum to put on show what we already have. It's not particularly about collection, it's more about displaying what we already have, which is we've got thousands of beautiful artefacts from the linen industries, from the silk industry, engineering industry, all manner of things, the wars and transport objects. It's fascinating, and people have often said, why can't we see it? Why can't we see it? So now we get to see it. Now we put it on display for everybody, and we let the people of Dunfermline see the objects.
I saw an appeal on the web for a scooter, an actual scooter from the 1960s, because these were quite popular in Dunfermline, even more so in the west of Fife.
Absolutely.
Have you had any?
It's funny because when we first started as research and activities assistants, we went out and about in the town, as you do, to attract some interest. And we asked people what they would like to see in the entrance to the museum. And the thing that came out top of everything that people wanted to see was a scooter. So we put
something
the
we
appeal
didn't
out.
have.
Yeah, we don't have a scooter. So we put an appeal out to the public, and we've actually, one of our volunteers, which is fantastic, has offered us his 1960s Vespa, and that is going to get restored back to its beautiful 1960s condition and displayed in the museum. So it's great.
Wow. Well, I want to sit on that.
Yeah,
really
we all do.
It's one that he used to drive about in Dunfermline as well in the 60s, so it has got that local connection. It's great.
Fantastic. What's the colour? Is it?
At the moment, it's racing car green, because that's the colour that Douglas chose to change it to.
Right, okay.
But we're going to restore it back to its original silver.
Excellent. And I don't know about you, but these sort of objects like scooters and stuff, they remind me of these guys. It's madness, my girl. We're interested to hear about the road bridge. Your curator Leslie Boughton wants to hear about people's memories about when the road bridge was opened.
That's right. It's a pure coincidence that we open round about the same time that this new bridge opens in 2016. So there's already a connection there between the museum and the bridges. But way back to obviously the days of St Margaret, people were crossing in her ferry in pilgrimage to Dunfermline. And then zipping forward in time to the road bridge being built, we believe all primary school children got the day off school that day, and I know a lot of local people were down there to see the bridge. Some were on it, some were invited guests to sit in a podium and watch the ceremony. We want to hear from anybody that remembers the day that the bridge was opened and tell us their story. We've had different people come forward already. It was their different experiences of, completely different memories for every person, obviously. But it's one of these moments in time, isn't it? Where were you the day the bridge was opened? Most people can remember that were around. So
yeah, definitely. There must be memories of that day. I don't know whether it was sunshine or rain or it doesn't matter. But people who of a certain age, senior citizens especially, might remember that day.
Definitely.
And getting the day off school. I mean, that
Fabulous.
was in those days. I mean, that was rare and unheard of. And I wonder if we'll get the day off when the new bridge opens in, 2017, the new road bridge. I wonder if that'll happen. Katrina, we just had a brainwave off here, haven't we?
We have them.
We have them now and again, and it's nice to have them in the Radio West 5 studio. Not often, but yeah, we were going to invite one or two of the people who have contributed to the stories regarding the Fourth Road Bridge opening up, and we're going to record them and produce something for perhaps the museum or on our YouTube channel. So
fantastic.
We'll get some lovely stories from them. You've probably heard them already, but I'd like to hear these.
Phone in, everyone.
Katrina, the World War I project that you're involved in. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, I've just recruited a small team of volunteers who are going to be researching our First World War collection for the museum. We've got so many objects that, medals and dead man's pennies and such personal items that we don't know anything about them. We've got a soldier's name and then we don't know anything more about this person. So what our volunteers are going to be doing is looking into these soldiers' lives and just trying to find out a bit more about them, help us tell their stories and maybe bring the objects to life a little bit for us.
Very interesting for people that visit the museum and look at these objects, and kind of once they get a bit of the story, people's minds go, don't
Definitely.
they? Yeah.
Well, like Leslie was saying, it's a museum about the people of Dunfermline, and I mean most of our objects are from local soldiers, so we want to make that connection to the people rather than the bigger stories of war.
How can we get in contact with yourself?
Sure. Well, at the moment, most people have realised now that the Dunfermline Carnegie Library has closed, because the building work will be starting in the autumn, hopefully, to get our museum underway. So we have moved house, as have all our colleagues, and we've moved into St Margaret's house behind the library in St Margaret Street in Dunfermline. So that's open to the public Monday to Friday, every day we're in, so they're welcome to pop in and we will come down and speak to them. If they want to chat for a long time, they're also welcome. Best to phone up and arrange that, and then we can put aside a nice slot of time to talk to them. They can join our Facebook page. They can find us on At Fife's website, which is www.onfife's.com. And also that gives you information about the museums such as Kirkcaldy Galleries, which are already open. You can go and enjoy them now and not have to wait till 2016 till we get our one open. Or you can phone us. We don't have Twitter as yet, but I'm sure that'll be coming.
Hopefully.
But we're always pleased to hear from anybody, by whatever means.
Thanks for coming along. It's certainly been interesting to me. Fantastic initiative for the local community. And yeah, everyone's looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you
very much.
Radio West 5.
Radio West 5 is your community radio station, so tune in.